So it seems like we're getting pretty close to the PlayStation 5 reveal, and of course that means that as rumors pop up, they're going to gain more and more traction as we go along, because everyone right now is kind of on the edge of their seat wondering what Sony's going to do. Now, we did just see, which was really, really cool, by the way, Ghost of Tsushima, and they showed like 18 minutes of gameplay, and it looked great. So it's really cool to see that the PlayStation 4 is still getting some pretty big games, but hey, after Ghost of Tsushima, that's pretty much it, right? Last of Us is in a month now, and then we have Ghost of Tsushima in July, and then first-party Sony, that's it, right? So I would assume that means that they are then looking towards the future for the PS5 this holiday, which means they'd have to show quite a few games pretty soon. Well, it looks like we're starting to find out at least some rumored dates, and one in particular keeps coming up. Now, I will say, first half of June, yes, most likely. I'm going to say again, most likely. We should see something from Sony first half of June. So I think at this point, we're about 3 weeks out, for 3 to 4 weeks out from when Sony is going to show quite a few games. And Jeff Grubb on Twitter, who has, of course, been doing different bits of rumors and leaks and all of this. Jeff, of course, was the person who put out the information about the Direct Mini, and that just shadow dropped. So he had that right, but it wasn't looking good right up until it did that. So yes, people are keeping an eye on him, and he's doing quite a bit on Twitter as he kind of documents what he believes are several different dates and putting hints next to it. One of those being June 4th for the slate of play for PlayStation, mostly because there are going to be a lot of games at this event. And I will say, Sony appears to be getting things ready for a massive blowout. I mean, ridiculous amounts of games, okay? So naturally, everyone is coming up with different ideas, and comicbook.com did throw together some of the, I guess, more prominent rumored games that everyone's talking about, and I thought we'd go through some of them and my thoughts and likelihood of them being at this event. But yes, I would say, all right, so that's from Jeff, obviously, for June 4th. I'm going to say, keep in mind the first half of June, okay? I'm not going to say an exact date, because I don't need Sony coming here, but yeah, I'm gonna say first half of June. June 4th is from Jeff. So let's go over some of the rumored games, because that's obviously the most interesting part. Is what could Sony launch with this system to make us feel like we need to get this system for $500? It's not gonna be cheap. We know that. So let's go over that. Now we'll go over here to comicbook.com's their listing, and they are missing possibly one game that I thought might be shown there, and that would be from Square, possibly for Final Fantasy 16, maybe. What's interesting about this is there was a supposed leak as to what Square was having a hard time with in the background, like at their development studios, due to the pandemic going on in the world now, where a lot of remote work is happening instead of in-person office work. And one of them was listed as like Final Fantasy, it was like a code word for it, but it did list Final Fantasy working title, I guess, Unreal Engine 5. And that was like a month ago. We all kind of looked at that and said, well, okay, there's no such thing as Unreal Engine 5. Obviously, this is just a made-up leak. Here we are a month later, and we just found out about Unreal Engine 5 after it was showcased running on a PlayStation 5 just a few days ago. So now everyone goes back to that leak and starts looking at it again and is wondering, could there actually be a Final Fantasy project that is shown with Sony at their event? Maybe, but if we go to what comicbook.com has kind of rounded up here, these are just from all over the internet. People are sharing this as if it was a leaked list. It is not. From what I can tell, it is just a bunch of games that were thrown together from different parts of the internet that people are kind of guessing at here. So they have Ratchet and Clank. I do think Ratchet and Clank will be there. I think that could even be a launch title. And one of the reasons why I think that is because Ratchet and Clank would, I think, do a great job showing off visuals that are a bit different from what we're used to with Sony, which are like the more realistic, gritty visuals, I guess you'd say. Having Ratchet and Clank there would be, I think, a more bright and colorful and, I guess, more fun environment, kind of, although you are just blowing everything up. But it does look kind of realistic at times as well. I think that would be really cool just to showcase a different type of visual style from Sony. SOCOM getting rebooted would be amazing, but I don't think it will happen. I think it'd be really good for them to have a tactical shooter like that, especially if they can launch it. And there have been talks about SOCOM, but I don't know if it'll be at this event like for a launch title or anything to that nature. However, I think a lot of these other ones like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Spider-Man 2, God of War 2, they could all be there. And the reason I think they will be there is because Sony is going to show games that won't be out for like 3 years. Now, look, they do that obviously, but they really want to sell this PS5. Even if a game's not coming out for years and years, they want to plant the seed that you need to get this thing if you want to play God of War 2 or Spider-Man 2. In fact, I would say the game that they should show, they absolutely should show, is Spider-Man 2. It appeals to a wide audience. It's a memorable character. It's Spider-Man, obviously. And that's not saying that it's better than, say, God of War and what God of War 2 can be, but it's Spider-Man, right? You put Spider-Man on the front and people will buy it. Also, they've been using Spider-Man, the original one, on the PS4 quite a bit as like a tech demo, and they keep pointing to it. So I do think they are working on Spider-Man 2 to be one of their big time launches and could even headline this event coming up. The Demon's Souls remake is apparently what Bluepoint is working on. That'll be interesting to see how that goes over and what they've done with it. But the word is whatever Bluepoint's working on looks visually stunning. It could be Demon's Souls. That would be interesting. I feel like at this point, it's so expected. I want it to be something different just because then it would catch us off guard. But right now, the expectation is that they will show up with Demon's Souls. And I can tell you now, Bluepoint will be at this event ready to go. It could even be a launch title. So that'd be cool. The one that's going to really surprise people, which it shouldn't because it's been talked about, is Silent Hill. The word is that Silent Hill really is going to Sony and that they are licensing it from Konami and that it will be a console exclusive. So they're going to hold on to the rights for it. I do wonder if it could eventually go to PC as Sony is doing kind of this PC initiative, if you will, with Horizon Zero Dawn. But yeah, apparently Sony is overseeing the development of Silent Hill, which is like a reboot. And then there's also like another Silent Hill project being worked on that could even be multi-plat. It's hard to say. I do wonder if Sony just went to Konami and made the deal happen, and Konami was like, we don't want to work on a game, but we will license the IP because we like money and we don't have to do that much work if we license it to you. And as long as they can keep making their pachinko and gambling machines, they probably don't care too much. But that'll be very, very fun to see on a PS5, a new Silent Hill reboot. Whew, that's going to be something crazy. Now, Gran Turismo, everyone expects that. I mean, car games look good as it is now, so it's easy, of course, to show how good the PS5 can make something look by showing off a Gran Turismo, which has always looked good on every platform that it's been on. So I expect that fully. And Ape Escape Remake, I would be shocked if that was there. But hey, crazier things have happened, right? I don't know if Sony's looking at Ape Escape like, we got to show this. It's that big, you know, $500 is nothing if Ape Escape is there for people. Although it could fill a good role that, like, we had Knack, right? For the PS4. Ape Escape Remake could be like the Knack, I would say, of the presentation. Not that it's like bad or anything, but not like, it's not going to be like a Spider-Man or a God of War or something. It's, I guess, the AA game, the mid-level game. Ape Escape, I think, would fit nicely there. As for third-party games, the word is that Sony will be having quite a few of them there, but I don't know how accurate this list would be. I think these are just games that we kind of know about right now, but we're not sure if they will be there. And that includes things like the new Batman game, which I think that might be a summer Game Fest thing. Like, I think Jeff Keighley might wrap that one up as a reveal one day. Resident Evil 8 most likely will be there. Sony and Capcom with the Resident Evil stuff have been very, very close, kind of tight-knit with that. I mean, we've seen Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, right? And then, of course, Resident Evil 7 had, like, VR and all that built in, but very recently we've had a lot of the Resident Evils revealed at Sony events. That makes sense with 8 to be shown there. Saints Row 5 would be very strange. I feel like that could be another Summer Game Fest thing that would be shown if it's ready to go. We do know they are working on the next Saints Row, though, that being THQ. Then Dragon Age 4, that will probably be shown at EA's event, unless they want to run a cinematic trailer and then say, check out the EA Play or whatever for gameplay, and they actually show it fully then. It's very possible they could basically treat it as an advertising opportunity. Hitman 3 very well could be there, although that could also end up being at Microsoft's event at some point, as I do think Microsoft will also work to showcase some third parties at their own event. Far Cry 6, I think, is going to be at Ubisoft's event. I even think they want to reveal it there, so I wouldn't expect that one here at the Sony event. The Rocksteady game is interesting. It's been kicked around several different things that it could be. And I've heard, we've heard Superman, right? We've heard another Batman game. We've heard Suicide Squad. I've heard all kinds of different things that it could be. And at this point, I'm not even 100% sure what it is at this time. So I hope it's shown. But hey, that could be another Summer Game Fest thing, or even it could end up at Microsoft's event, or who knows there. Elden Ring, I think that's going to be Microsoft's. I think they might even get the marketing on it, to be honest. So I'm going to defer that to Microsoft's own event. Prince of Persia game, I would be shocked if Ubisoft did that, because I think that AAA game that they have mentioned is Far Cry 6. Although it would be interesting if Sony took the lead on it and Ubisoft just licensed it to them. But I feel like Ubisoft would want to make Prince of Persia themselves and make that thing multi-platform. Starfield would be interesting. And I think Sony wants third parties there, but like, would you want Starfield at your event when you're trying to show these big first party games? And then you have a third party game that's going to be multi-plat that could end up overshadowing it. Like, if Starfield is there and you have also God of War 2 and Spider-Man 2, I think it'll still be a toss-up between what everyone's talking about, and Starfield will be right there with them. So, like, Starfield will be cool, but at that point, you're just showcasing games that will also be on the Xbox, and Sony is pretty traditional in how they do these kind of things, so I think they're looking more towards games that will specifically be on Sony's platform, with, of course, some exceptions like Resident Evil 8 and others that they might get the marketing to, but, like, Starfield, I feel like, I don't know, that one would be very weird to see there. It could happen, but I feel like Bethesda's going to hold on to Starfield, maybe even until they have another E3 event at some time. But those are my thoughts right now on the PlayStation 5 event and some of the games that could be there. One thing's for sure, when this event happens, it is going to be massive. I could see it being 90 minutes, even up to 2 hours. I'm not kidding, because they're going to show us some gameplay on the PS5, which is going to be pretty cool, right, to see the visuals. But I'm hoping they even talk about the price. They'll definitely show us the box, right? And they'll probably even talk about some other things like OS level features, different things that the DualSense can do. I think the PlayStation VR 2 will be held off until next year at the earliest. Could even be the following year. That could be something that falls closer to the mid-generation. But it's going to be fun. And Jeff is probably onto something, I'll say, with June 4th, but I don't want to guarantee it. I'm just saying, for now, first half of June, roughly 3 to 4 weeks, I would say, is how far away we are from the event. But let me know what you guys think about this down below at the PS5. What do you think from this list is right? That's the big thing. What do you think is correct here? And then what do you think is missing, and what would you like to see at this event? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.